We both looked at each other and decided it was time to make some phone calls. But of course, just then, some of them were in the realm of fantasy. I just know I won't be working with some of them, but...
At 94, Angie Dickinson is finally spilling the truth about Ricky Nelson, and her story is pure Hollywood gold. Born Angeline Brown on September 30th, 1931, in the quiet town of Culm, North Dakota, Angie came from humble roots. Her dad was a newspaper editor and publisher, a sharp, no-nonsense man who passed down his love for words, ideas, and a curious mind. Growing up during the Great Depression wasn't easy, but it built Angie's resilience and drive to stand out. When her family moved to California, everything changed. Suddenly surrounded by palm trees and movie dreams, Angie's natural charm began to shine. She didn't plan on becoming a Hollywood star at first. She was just a smart, ambitious young woman studying business and drama at Glendale Community College and later at Immaculate Heart College in Los Angeles. But fate had bigger plans for her. It all started with a beauty contest, the kind that could make or break dreams. Her radiant presence caught attention fast, and before long, a TV appearance in the early 1950s opened the door to Columbia Pictures. Just like that, Angie was thrown into the glitz and pressure of Hollywood, back when the studio system ruled everything. What made Angie stand out wasn't just her breathtaking beauty, though she definitely turned heads. It was her mix of confidence, smarts, and genuine warmth. She had that rare spark, the kind that made audiences feel like she wasn't just a star on the screen, but someone real they could actually know. Throughout the 1950s, Angie's career grew steadily, as she climbed from bit parts to roles that truly showed off her talent. Then came her big break, Rio Bravo, in 1959. Starring alongside John Wayne and Dean Martin, she lit up the screen as Feathers, the bold and flirtatious saloon singer who could go toe-to-toe with any man. Her performance was sizzling yet full of heart, proving she could be tough, playful, and deeply feminine all at once. That role didn't just make her a star, it made her unforgettable. Angie Dickinson became the symbol of strength and allure, a woman who could hold her own in any room and make it look effortless. Through the 1960s, Angie Dickinson wasn't just working. She was dominating the screen. From intense dramas to slick thrillers and wild comedies, she refused to be boxed into one type of role. Movies like Ocean's 11, 1960, The Killers, 1964, and Point Blank, 1967, showed off her fearless versatility and her hunger to take creative risks that other actresses wouldn't dare to touch. In Point Blank, her scenes with Lee Marvin were electric. She played it cool, but underneath that calm exterior, you could feel the emotion bubbling up, raw, controlled, and powerful. Her performance captured the darker, more complicated side of the late 1960s film scene. Angie wasn't just surviving the shift in Hollywood, she was mastering it. From the glossy studio era to the gritty realism of the new wave, she adapted like a pro. But Angie wasn't stopping there. Television was calling, and she answered with a bang. In 1974, she took on the role of Sergeant Suzanne Pepper Anderson in Policewoman, becoming the first woman ever to lead a hit TV drama as a cop. That was unheard of back then. At a time when female characters were often treated like sidekicks or background decoration, Angie kicked down that door, literally and figuratively. Her portrayal of Pepper Anderson was a game changer. She made her tough, smart, and full of heart, showing that strength and compassion could coexist. Viewers loved her. The show became a massive success and left a cultural mark that opened doors for every female-led police or detective series that followed. Angie's performance didn't just entertain, it inspired. Even as the years went on and Hollywood's focus shifted, Angie kept evolving. She picked her roles wisely, always going for depth over hype. Her daring part in Dressed to Kill, 1980, blew audiences away and reintroduced her to a whole new generation. She proved she wasn't afraid to take chances, no matter the decade. By the early 1990s, Angie Dickinson had nothing left to prove, yet she still found ways to surprise everyone. She stayed bold, real, and true to herself, turning every new role into another reminder of why she's one of the most respected women ever to grace the screen. In 1993, Angie Dickinson shook Hollywood again with one of her boldest moves yet. Starring in ABC's explosive miniseries Wild Palms, produced by none other than Oliver Stone. This wasn't the glamorous Angie fans remembered. This was a chilling, razor-sharp version of her they'd never seen before. Playing the cold, militant sister of Senator Tony Zare, portrayed with icy dominance by Robert Loggia, Angie dove deep into the dark side of power and corruption. She stripped away every trace of her earlier elegance and stepped into something fierce, political, and downright haunting. Her presence in Wild Palms was magnetic. Every scene she was in pulsed with tension, emotion, and moral confusion, the kind that stuck with viewers long after the credits rolled. It proved yet again that Angie wasn't afraid to cross boundaries or make people uncomfortable if it meant telling a story that hit hard. And just when fans thought they'd seen it all, that same year, she switched gears completely. Angie took on the role of a ruthless Montana spa owner in Gus Van Sant's offbeat cult film, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, sharing the screen with Uma Thurman. The movie was wild, strange, and dripping with eccentric energy, and Angie thrived in it. Her performance was sharp, dangerous, and unapologetically bold. She brought out layers of power, entitlement, and pure intimidation, turning her character into someone you couldn't take your eyes off. Instead of toning it down, she went all in. Angie pushed every limit, proving she wasn't there to play it safe or please anyone. She was there to act. While many of her peers were choosing softer, more predictable parts, Angie was still taking risks like a rebel. Then, in a moment that shocked the industry, she made headlines that November when she walked off the set of a planned This Is Your Life TV special meant to celebrate her career. She refused to let the show package her life into a sentimental highlight reel. Angie wanted authenticity, not fluff. That bold move became another symbol of her pride and independence. She wasn't about to let Hollywood define her story. She owned it herself. And her streak didn't stop there. By 1995, she was still mixing it up, taking on fresh, unexpected roles that kept fans guessing. Director Sidney Pollack cast her in Sabrina as the strong, sharp-tongued future mother-in-law of Greg Kinnear, alongside Harrison Ford in the modern remake of Billy Wilder's beloved classic. Angie once again proved she could bring elegance, authority, and bite, all in one unforgettable package. With perfect timing and cool confidence, Angie Dickinson turned every scene into something unforgettable. In Sabrina, she brought a sharp wit and elegance that lifted her supporting role into pure star power. She had that rare ability to make even a few minutes on screen feel like a full performance. That same year, she switched things up again, playing Burt Reynolds' wife in the twisted psychological thriller, The Maddening. Her intensity added real emotion and tension, pulling viewers deep into the chaos of the story. Then she flipped genres completely, showing up as the sharp-tongued mom of Rick Aiello and Robert Cicchini in the wild National Lampoon comedy The Don's Analyst. Whether it was high drama or ridiculous humor, Angie slid between roles like it was second nature. By this point, her range was unreal. She could go from dangerous to hilarious, from heartbreaking to seductive, and make it look effortless. In 1997, she surprised everyone again with a cheeky and self-aware guest spot on HBO's The Larry Sanders Show. In the episode Artie and Angie and Hank and Hercules, she reunited with Rip Torn's Artie, playing an old flame whose spark definitely hadn't faded. Their chemistry was undeniable, funny, flirty, and full of nostalgia. It was one of those moments where audiences couldn't look away. Angie mixed humor and heart so naturally that it reminded everyone why she was one of Hollywood's most magnetic presences. Even after decades in the business, she still had that pull, that rare star quality that never dimmed. Whether she was playing dangerous, tender, or just plain hilarious, Angie Dickinson owned every role she touched. Her career at that stage wasn't about proving herself anymore. It was about reminding everyone that she was a true original who still had that fire. But behind the camera, her real life had just as much drama and depth as her films. Back in 1952, she had married Gene Dickinson, a former college football player who later found success in the electronics industry. On paper, it looked like the perfect Hollywood match: beauty, brains, and stability. But real life had other plans. Two strong, ambitious people chasing their own dreams eventually found themselves growing apart. Even though their marriage officially lasted until 1960, the couple had already gone their separate ways by 1956. Still, Angie made a bold choice after the split. She kept the name Dickinson. It wasn't just about fame, it was about identity. In an era when women in Hollywood were often pressured to reinvent themselves after a divorce, Angie refused to let anyone rewrite who she was. She carried her name and her independence with pride. During those years, her world expanded far beyond the bright lights of Hollywood. She built an unexpected but fascinating friendship with the brilliant economist John Kenneth Galbraith and his wife, Catherine, a couple known for their intellect and influence. Their connection wasn't about glamour or gossip. It was about ideas, curiosity, and mutual respect. Angie wasn't just a movie star. She was a thinker, a listener, and a woman who could hold her own in any conversation. Through her friendship with John Kenneth Galbraith and his wife, Catherine, Angie Dickinson stepped into a whole new world, one filled with sharp minds, global politics, and deep conversation. Their connection opened doors far beyond Hollywood's glittering lights, giving her access to a side of life most movie stars never see. She wasn't just rubbing shoulders with diplomats. She was engaging, asking questions, soaking in the experience. When Galbraith became the U.S. ambassador to India, Angie visited often, and those trips left a deep mark on her. She saw life from a broader perspective: the culture, the people, the politics. These travels, full of insight and discovery, were later captured in Galbraith's memoirs, Ambassador's Journal, and A Life in Our Times, where Angie appeared not as a celebrity tag-along, but as a curious, thoughtful guest who truly wanted to understand the world around her. Then, in 1965, Angie entered another major chapter of her life. She married the legendary composer Burt Bacharach. He was one of the biggest names in music, and together they were a creative powerhouse. Two artists at the top of their game, living in the spotlight, surrounded by fame, music, and endless expectations. Their marriage was full of artistic fire and glamorous chaos, the kind of union that could only exist between two passionate, driven souls. For 16 years, they built a life together that mixed beauty with tension. As the years went on, things became complicated. Fame, distance, and the natural pull of two powerful personalities started to take their toll. They eventually separated for a while, even seeing other people, but somehow their connection never completely broke. Their bond lasted longer than most Hollywood romances, a mix of love, loyalty, and shared history that ran deeper than the tabloids ever understood. On July 12, 1966, their lives changed forever with the birth of their daughter, Nikki. Her arrival brought immense joy, but also challenges that would test them in ways no fame could fix. Nikki was autistic, and during a time when understanding and support for autism were still painfully limited, Angie and Burt faced a struggle that few could imagine. Angie devoted herself to her daughter, standing by her through every difficulty with quiet strength and unconditional love. But heartbreak struck hard. Nikki's lifelong struggles with mental health led to her tragic passing on January 4, 2007. A loss that devastated Angie and left an ache she carried for the rest of her life. Behind her elegant public image was a mother's silent grief, a reminder that even the brightest stars live with shadows no one sees. When Burt Bacharach passed away in 2023, it closed the final chapter of their remarkable and deeply human story. Despite all the pain, what remained between them was something real: love, history, and the echoes of a bond that shaped both of their lives forever. Now, at 94, Angie Dickinson speaks with a raw honesty that only a lifetime in Hollywood could carve out. The glitz, the flashing lights, the endless premieres, all of that has faded into the background. What's left is a woman unfiltered, grounded, and real. When she finally opens up about Ricky Nelson, she doesn't do it with scandal or gossip. She does it with heart, grace, and the kind of wisdom that comes from years of looking back without bitterness. People always wanted to turn everything into a romance, Angie says softly. But what Ricky and I shared was more complicated and more meaningful than that. Their story wasn't just about chemistry, it was about connection. When the two first crossed paths in the early 1960s, they were at completely different points in their fame. Angie was already a powerhouse, respected, admired, and confident in her craft. Ricky, on the other hand, was America's golden boy. The clean-cut teen idol with that perfect smile and a voice that every young fan swooned over. He was adored, Angie remembers. And that kind of adoration can be a prison, especially when you're so young. The whispers about their age difference floated through Hollywood, but Angie insists people were missing the real truth. The gap between them wasn't about years, it was about experience. Ricky had been famous since childhood, she explains. I don't think people understood how much that took from him. He never really had the chance to discover who he was without an audience watching. She paints a picture of a man who was thoughtful, almost too gentle for the world that built him up and boxed him in. He was sweet and polite, almost old-fashioned, she says. But there was a sadness there, a loneliness. I saw it right away. Beneath the spotlight and the screaming crowds was someone quietly searching for himself. Angie understood that side of him, the artist who wanted more than applause, who wanted meaning. Ricky wanted to be taken seriously, she recalls, not just screamed at. It's clear that what they shared wasn't a PR stunt or some Hollywood fling. It was something real, private, and deeply human. There was no agenda, Angie says firmly. No manipulation. Just two people talking, laughing, trying to understand each other in a world that didn't slow down for anyone. For a moment she pauses, the kind of silence that holds both love and loss. I think I may have been someone he could talk to honestly, she finally says. It's a simple statement but heavy with emotion, a quiet acknowledgement of a bond that went beyond fame, beyond time, beyond what the tabloids could ever capture. As the years passed, their paths drifted apart, as Hollywood lives often do. But Angie never forgot Ricky Nelson. To her, he wasn't just a singer or an icon. He was a soul caught between worlds, trying to find his place in both. And even now, with a lifetime behind her, she remembers him not with regret, but with a soft smile and the kind of fondness that never fades. Ricky was a warning, Angie says quietly, her voice carrying both strength and sorrow. Fame can freeze you in time. It can stop you from growing if you're not careful. Her words hit hard, especially knowing what came next. Ricky Nelson's tragic death in 1985 shattered her more than she ever expected. It felt unfinished, she admits. Like he never got the chance to live the life he wanted. That breaks my heart to this day. Even after all these years, Angie still wonders who Ricky might have become if life had given him more time, if he could have grown older, freer, and finally stepped out from under the weight of his own legend. You can hear the ache in her tone, not regret, but compassion. Ricky wasn't weak, she says firmly. He was sensitive, and sensitivity, that's dangerous in a world that rewards image over truth. She gives a small, knowing smile, the kind only a woman who's seen it all can manage. Angie doesn't speak with bitterness. She speaks with grace, understanding, and a touch of sadness that comes from remembering someone who mattered deeply. I hope people remember him for his talent, she says softly, and for the human being behind the fame. Now at 94, Angie Dickinson has no need for the myths or the headlines. Time has stripped all that away, leaving only what's real, memory, meaning, and truth. By finally sharing her story, she's not rewriting history. She's humanizing it. If this story moved you, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment. Let us know what you think about Angie Dickinson's powerful reflections and the legacy of Ricky Nelson.